but we drink not too much because we are drinking only when we are eating. After that, we don't drink. We don't drink a bottle of whiskey like in India, for example. We are eating all together. Not like in India, one one on the bed, the other one on the sofa, and so on, so on. It's not like that in France. We are
Yeah.
eating all together. But of course, the best country is France.
Subjective. For me, it's India itself. But yeah. Yo, what is up, my friends? Welcome back to ThoughtCast. My name is Aditya Bajaj, and for today, my guest is none other than Mr. Lambert. Mr. Lambert is a French person. He's a 67-year-old French person who has almost around 18 years of teaching experience in management sector. Along with that, he has been the principal of schools, French schools, for more than 20 years. And the super interesting part about this is Mr. Lambert has traveled more than 40 countries around the globe, and after his retirement in 2020, he spent 6 months of his entire year in India. In this episode of Thoughtcast, we'll be diving deep into Mr. Lambert's perspectives, basically a French person's perspective about India and Indians. Without wasting much of your time, let's dive deep into the conversation. And the super interesting episode with Mr. Lambert starts in 3, 2, 1.
In 2018, at this time I was a principal in a high school in France, in Normandy, it's west part of France, and we organized an exchange with an high school in Jaipur. And I spent 4 days in Jaipur.
So, first of all, I just want you to introduce yourself to all the listeners. A short, brief introduction about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from?
Okay, so I am Mr. Lambert. I am 67. I am a former retired principal from government school in France. You have to know that 80% of the high school and all the schools in France are from government school. It's not like in India. And so I am retired since 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living in east part of France, near the border with Germany, Luxembourg, and Belgium.
Nice. So, I also know that you have been into finance and management. So, what was your experience? And you've been a teacher for almost around 18
Yes,
years.
so I study in university this topic, we say topic?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And after that, I worked during 2 years in Germany, 1 year in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, it is in Bavaria, in South Germany, and the other year in Frankfurt am Main, it's in west part of Germany, during 2 years. And after 2 years, I decide to be a teacher. And to be a teacher in France, you must have a competition. It's not like in India as well. So how we say it in English. So I had the competition. I received the competition, and during 2 years at this time, we have to learn in university for pedagogy. And I was near Paris in university to learn this type of lesson and pedagogy. And after 2 years, I begin to be a teacher. I was a teacher during about 20 years in a catering school in France. It's typical high school from France. And after that, I had a competition to be a principal, and I was a principal during about 20 years as well.
Wow. So, just we'll come to India first, but I want to know your best experiences as a first school teacher, teaching students management, and then as a principal, what were your experience of dealing with and managing the entire school all by yourselves?
Difficult. My best experience as a teacher, you mind?
Yes, sir.
Oh la la, it's not easy because I had a lot of experiences.
Yeah.
Because I don't stay, in France we have to change. And I was working in east part of France, after that in Paris, after that in South Pacific, in Tahiti, because it is a French part of in South Pacific. I worked where I worked in south of France as well. So I had a lot of experiences, a lot of different experiences. But the best is when the student, when it is finished, when they receive the exam, and we can said, okay, it's good. We worked for something, for the exam. And after that, the second good thing is when some students are coming back and explain to us, oh, now I am a manager, I am a director, I am a blah, 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 blah. It's fine for us
Yeah.
because the result is positive. But it's not always like that. Sometimes it's difficult,
Uh,
but we forget.
that makes sense. And
Yeah.
what were the challenges you faced when you were a principal managing the entire school?
Difficult to explain because the system is really totally different as in India.
Okay.
So, as a principal in France, first, you can't stay more as 8 years at the same high school. You have to change. It's mean about each 5 years you have to change. So you ask for another place. You have a list. You can choose in the list, but you are not alone to choose.
Hmm.
And so, so for example, I was a principal during 4 years near the border with Belgium in northeast part of France. After that, 4 years as a principal in Tahiti, so French Polynesia in South Pacific, during 4 years as well. It's German, sorry. And 4 years in Martinique. Martinique, it is a French island in the Caribbean area. Do you know Cuba?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the same at the same place.
Hmm.
But Cuba, it's a free country. But Martinique and we have other islands that are part of France.
Makes
And during 4 years, and after that, 5 years in Normandy, in west part of France. And now I'm retired. It's
Hmm.
good to be retired.
So I'm having a lot of interest that you've traveled around a lot. You're fond of traveling, right?
Yes,
So,
I hate
uh, what brought you to build a connection with India?
what.
You know what
So,
what did you find interesting about India as a country
oh, it's
that you
difficult.
wanted to make a business, start a venture with a relation between India and France, talking about the Indo-France?
So, first, India is not famous in France. You are
Oh.
a big country, but India is not famous because it's not famous for tourism.
Hmm.
Because not a lot of French people are traveling in India. Because I think not enough publicity in France about India. India for French people is famous for Rajasthan and for
Hmm.
Taj Mahal,
Okay, makes sense.
and sometimes for Goa, sometimes for and so why I stay in India? It's a good question. I think I stay in India for the people. I'm sorry, but not really for the country. But because sometimes your country is difficult for me. So your way of life, your food, your religion, your the traffic, the noise, the, a lot of people, but all the people are kind.
Yeah,
And I met some Indian people, for Monsieur Tevacha Indovesh, and now he is like my son.
that makes sense.
And I spent about 6 months in India.
That's very interesting that you spent almost most of your life abroad in France, around Europe, and now you're, staying 6 months here in India. I just
Mm-hmm.
want you to tell the differences that you've noticed between France and India.
Mm-hmm.
Be them positive, be them negative, does not matter. But what are the differences that you have observed?
The difference between France and India.
Yeah.
How to explain you? It's difficult to explain because there are so much difference. So, for example, for the food, it's for me it's always the same food in India, always
Hmm.
the same. But in France, you can stay 2 years. Of I said a lot of time to Indo-France, you can stay 3 years in France without to eat the same food one time.
Hmm.
So it's so much. In France, in India, in the world, people are eating to live. Without to
Hmm.
eat, we pass away. But in France, we live to eat. It's very important for us to spend time on the table. It means to spend time on the table means 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. We stay on the table.
Hmm.
We eat, we drink, we speak, and so on, so on, so on. But we drink not too much because we are drinking only when we are eating.
Hmm.
After that, we don't drink. We don't drink a bottle of whiskey like in India, for example.
Okay.
It's not in our way of life. And what another difference? Uh, how to explain the difference between France and India? It's difficult to compare because you are 1.5 billion and we are only 67 million people. How to
That
compare?
makes
It's not
sense.
possible to compare. And it's more easy to travel in France as in India because the traffic is fluently in France
Yeah.
and not so much traffic, and the distance are not so big as in India. It's more easy.
Hmm.
So what another difference? What other difference, Monsieur Indavesh?
So population does make the difference, but I feel talking about the eating habits of India and France, India people are a bit more into hustling. They have a lot of things to do. They cannot just spend 4 to 6 hours on a table for a meal. That's
They can, Monsieur. They can. I have some example. They
uh,
can stay 6 or 7 hours on a table. Indavesh, his wife, spent 2 times for Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year Eve, and New Year. They spend 6 or 7 hours on the table, but it's not.
wow.
The time is going, and we are drinking a little bit. We are eating. We are speaking for Christmas. We have the gift, and so on. So on. This can be. I remember the first time when I told to Indonesia we stay 6 or 7 hours. He said to me, "No, no, 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 no." But it's like that. Oh, and something very different in France and in India.
Yeah, yeah.
In France, we are eating all together, not like in
Hmm.
India. One on the bed, the other one on the sofa, and so on, so on. It's not like that in France. We are
Yeah.
eating all together. And it was for me the first time, it was strange because what's happened? People are eating on the bed. What is it? What's happened? The bed is not for, it's not to eat,
That
it's to
makes
sleep.
sense.
But now I know, now it's okay, it's like that in India. So
Yeah,
I accept it.
that makes sense.
Hmm.
Also, you've traveled around 40 countries, I believe.
Or perhaps more as 40 countries.
Yeah.
Perhaps I travel all, I think I discover 80% of the country from Europe,
Mm-hmm.
and I have the chance to spend 10 years in Tahiti, in South Pacific. It's mean I travel in a lot of countries in South Pacific, New Zealand, Australia, Fiji. Hawaii, New Caledonia, Wallis and Futuna, and so on, so on, so on, so on. And in US, because when you are living in Tahiti, it's a little island, and
Hmm.
it can be boring because there is nothing to do except to go to the beach. But
Hmm.
okay, to go to the beach is good, but every day or every week it's bon. And the people who have enough money in Tahiti, they are traveling a lot in US
Hmm.
or in New Zealand, because from Tahiti to New Zealand it's only 5 hours, and from Tahiti to Los Angeles it's 8 hours. It's
Okay.
mean I traveled a lot in US
Hmm. So,
when
what
I
was
was
your
in Tahiti.
favorite country, and what was something that actually you liked about that country amongst
Ah,
all the one that you've traveled?
the the best country I visit, it's a little island, because it was a dream when I was a kid. I saw on a book this island. It is Eastern Island. Eastern Island, it is a little island with some famous moai. You know, moai, it's a big statue,
Okay.
but it's no. It's for me, it was like a dream. It's not far away from Tahiti, perhaps 5 hours, and it's like a dream. And for me, the best country I visit is French Polynesia. It's really marvelous. The sun, the beach, it's, it's nice. The lagoon, and so on and so on. It's the best country. But of course, the best country is France. You know.
Subjective for me, it's India itself. But yeah.
After India.
No, so coming back to India, so you've been living here for around 4 years, I believe.
Yes.
So what are the places you've traveled, and what except I said you've told that you've been to Rajasthan, you found it more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What are the different places you've traveled, and different cultural shifts you've experienced within India itself?
My
Different
cultural
places you've traveled in India itself, and you've liked.
places I travel in India.
Yeah.
So I travel, okay, Rajasthan, Jaipur. I was in Dehradun, Mussoorie,
Rishikesh.
Rishikesh, Chandigarh, Benares. Uh, what, what? I think
And
it's planned to go. I would like to go to Pondicherry, because Pondicherry was a
has a French
French.
culture. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I've been to Pondicherry, and it's actually really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
has people there actually speak French. So I have had a professor on the podcast itself. She was from Pondicherry. She teaches French in my university, and she was, you know, had that French background.
Uh-huh.
So, what was the place you liked the most in India?
I like the most in India.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh. Not the pollution, not the traffic, not. So I think it's the people I
Yeah.
met, because I have the chance to meet nice people and kindly people. But I think I come back for the people, not for the country only,
Hmm.
because it's difficult for us. I think it can be difficult for Indian people to travel in France, because it is a shock. I
Makes
can't
sense.
can But the first time I arrived at the airport in Delhi, it was a big shock. So much people, so much people, so much people. It was a noise, noise, and noise. It was really, and after that I was in the car and I discovered the traffic. It was scared, really scared for me. But okay, it's India. I know now it's
Yeah.
India. It's like that. I have to accept, and I accept that.
Yeah, it makes sense now because there was a very huge cultural shift for you.
So very
He's talking about the cultural shift, the difference of the culture.
between France and India.
Yes, and
Yeah.
Ooh,
you can ask him the question again, the full question.
I'm saying,
So the
sorry, I was saying,
yes.
I was saying that you felt the difference because for you, you've been living all your life in France, and there was a massive cultural and population shift when you came to India.
Mm-hmm.
That made sense. Okay, I want you to tell me something about Indo-France. What's, what, why did you start Indo-France, and what is Indo-France for you?
Oh, it's so I was a principal, and I we it was in 2016, I think so. We received a message from the French Educational Ministry, and the message told, okay, some high school in India would like to have exchanges with French high school. Okay, so I asked to the English teachers, because it's not like in India, we have to ask if they are agree or not. Big difference. And I asked to the English teacher, and I discussed with my assistant, and why not an exchange with India. And we organized the exchange with the company, but the company was not honest. And the second year, we worked with an high school. First, it was in Jaipur. Second, always with the same company, French Indian company. We worked with an high school, DPSG Ghaziabad, and it was difficult with the company. I don't want to tell you the name of this company, but it was difficult. And we decided with the principal to organize the same exchange, but alone, without company. It means organized in France,
Without the
and the principal,
mediator.
yes, without the mediator. So okay, it was fine. And okay, a new exchange. It means French students spend 2 weeks in India in family, and Indian student in French family in France. So COVID, during 2 years, no possibility to have exchange. And in December 21, I was invited for a party in the high school where I was principal, because my assistant made a party for his retirement. Okay, I was for the party, and one English teacher is coming to me, and she asked to me, "Oh, Mr. Lambert, a lot of students would like to organize a new exchange with India, but it is difficult because I've sent email, I don't receive a reply, blah 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 blah." I said, "Okay, I will see," and I sent a message to Indo-France, and I explained the situation, and we find a school in India with the school in France, and we begin to organize the exchange. It was if I don't was if I don't was yes if I don't was in Coutances in December for the party, no exchange. It's
Hmm.
like that.
So it began
And
from the party.
yes, of course, yeah, yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, because the English teacher didn't receive reply. She sent a lot of
Hmm.
email, and she didn't receive reply. Okay, it's like that. It's a life. So life can be surprised.
Yeah, life can be unfair also sometimes. Uh,
And now it's some French high school, some principal knows that we organize exchanges. Don't she ask to us, "Oh, could you find a school in India?" And same in India, some principal knows that we organize exchanges with France, and they ask to us, "Oh, could you organize an exchange for us?" Okay, we will organize another exchange next year. So
that's great. So I wanted to ask, do you also make money by organizing these exchange
not
programs?
really, not really. We earn money to pay the visa when I travel in India, to pay my flight ticket, and same for Indovesh when he's traveling in France. We earn money enough to pay the flight ticket. It's not a business because Indovesh is working. He earned enough. I am French government retired. I have a good pension. I don't need. It's not for the business. At the beginning, I was thinking it was to be busy because I was the principal, and one day and the day after, nothing to do.
So you've started it to, keep yourself busy and, just working in something, get
Oh
caught
yes,
up in
yes,
something.
yes, 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 and to travel in India to stay in my family in India.
I've taken some
But it's
tips.
not a real business.
That makes. I'm saying I've taken some tips for my own retirement plan. It's actually a great idea.
Or you are no, you have time.
I have a lot.
It's you can believe me. It's better to work as to be retired. You have no pain. You will see when you will be retired. You will have a lot of pains,
Makes sense.
back pains, for example.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about, Mr. Lambert?
Pardon?
Anything else you want to speak about?
What can I tell?
Any question you want to ask me about?
And you, what are you learning? What
Uh,
are you
I'm a computer science student here in India.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
And this podcast,
Yeah.
it was online.
Yeah. So it goes on YouTube every week mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
Ah,
I get guests from various fields. Like you're from France. I get my professors, people who have started their own ventures, people who are doing something interesting with their lives. I try to get them
mhm,
on the podcast and make a connection with them. So it becomes
mhm.
easier for me to get in touch with these people.
So, if you have some friends who are learning French,
Sorry.
I can. If you have some friends, if these friends are learning French or not, I am free to meet these friends or these people or you as well in front
Done.
of.
Done. We'll surely meet soon.
Uh-huh.
And it was great.
Okay,
It was great having you. Thank you so much for doing this, sir.
take pleasure.
Thank you
It's
so much,
friend.
sir.
So
Anything you
see
want to
you
say to the listeners? One thing you
to
want to
the
convey to the listeners, those who will be listening
what
to
is
this?
listeners.
To the people, those who watch his podcast, you have a special
So
message
so
for the young
so.
students and all?
What can I wish you a best life. You have to work for your country and for the world because you know the world at this time is not very good and a lot of chance in the life.
Thank you so much, sir.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, sir. Thank you so much for listening till this point. If you've liked the video, do not forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Also, when I was recording the episode, I realized that we as Indians have a responsibility that we're forgetting. The responsibility is to create, to actually show the world who we are and not just be the stereotypical India, be the stereotypical country that the West thinks of us. So all I want is just be yourself, just just a reminder that we as Indians have a lot upon our shoulders to portray for our country. And that's all from my end. Just do not forget to hit the like button. Tell me, did you like the conversation? If you did not like, what you did not like, what all feedback you have for me. And I'll see you soon in the next episode. Till then, keep on listening. Bye.